this video today, I'm going to be sharing how we can set boundaries with ourselves and recognize when we're going down this spiral of overthinking, overcomplicating things in our mind when we want to take action, but we're making it almost impossible to even take a step forward because we create so many problems and expectations for the beginning step. And what ends up happening is I obsess so hard that I create this analysis paralysis in my body. So I've had to set some boundaries even with myself and with my thinking and recognize, hey, this really does drain my energy. So I've noticed that like in that creative and kind of obsessive state of mind where I'm just like coming up with all these new ideas and like, okay, how can I like add this and make this so like have this subtlety here and have this subtlety here, I've noticed like it's a beautiful space. It's kind of chaotic and there's not a lot of like structure and there's so much to like create. And that's a part of the artistic like energy, like there's chaos in it. But I've also like learned I can't stay in that space forever because what ends up happening is I get super drained because it's just like kind of chaotic and there's no structure. And like I've just learned that as I do that, I create like this something so big and so like so many details and so many like different things to it, aspects, that it's impossible to just even take one step. So if you have an obsessive mind, maybe you've experienced the same thing too, where you know you can just create so many extra problems and so many steps that it just becomes so hard to even take a step. And then it's like, and then I can get down on myself of, okay, why am I not doing anything? Why haven't I gotten this done? And I become my own like taskmaster where it's like, what's wrong with you? Why haven't you done anything? And it's like, well, actually, I made it so like hard to even start. Some things that have helped me as I've like noticed this pattern in my life is, one, I have to like recognize when I'm going down that hole and like, oh, hey, here's this creative process and like honor it. That's something I've noticed and kind of created a like habit in my life is like, hey, I'm gonna honor this because it is chaotic, that space, and it's like revealing, and I like honor it, and there's so much to be like given there and be grateful for, because it's like, oh, this is just flowing through my body. Okay, what can I learn? How do I write it down? But what I've also like learned is that if I just take one thing and just start with that and not be able to focus on any other thing, because I come up with like 10 different steps. Okay, this is how I'm going to do it. And as I just write down one step, I have to make a deal with myself that I'm only going to do that one thing, and I can't do or try anything else or even like think of like any other ways to add to it until I do that one thing. And that like breaks it down and takes away a lot of the energy and extra like expectation I have to this huge thing. And it makes it, oh, hey, this is manageable. I can do this one thing. And it's like, oh man, even though I think like in myself, like it's just one thing, like I should be able to get so many other things done. If you have that obsessive mind, like, and you're having a hard time, which I have like seen in my life, where when it's hard to get going and moving, it's the more simplistic I make it, the more I can get done. And it's so much like I had to start building this relationship with myself where I could start to like trust myself with just these little things and not become this taskmaster for myself where I like, hey, I have to get every fucking thing done, and start with this huge wide step of everything getting it done. And it's like, whoa, like I can't even like trust myself with those little things. Yeah, I've noticed this pattern, and if you've seen it in your life where it's really easy to like obsess. I really tend to obsess over things, and to, whether it's over projects, things that I'm really stoked on, or I'll really obsess over things that are ridiculous, that are a little bit irrational and like just fears. Like I can really obsess over that. And I've noticed that pattern, and it can go in both ways. And I've noticed that it leads to destructive patterns, but also like it drains my energy. Like I've noticed that it's like, okay, when I go down this rabbit hole, I usually drain some energy. And it's like, okay, how do I change this? What is here to learn?